The Cherokees.
A thriving American Indian tribe.
Our history.
Our culture.
Our people.
Our future.
The principles of a historic nation.
Sewn into the fabric of a modern world.
Hundreds of thousands strong.
Learning. Growing.
Succeeding.
And steadfast.
In the past, we have persevered through struggle.
But the future is ours to write.
Osiyo.
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 These are the voices of the Cherokee people.
Osiyo, I'm Principal Chief Bill John Baker. Welcome to the Cherokee Nation. This is how we share our culture, our heritage, our history, and our language with you. Wado.
Osiyo, it's how we say hello in Cherokee. I'm your host, Jennifer Loren, in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, the heart of the Cherokee Nation. This program is the first of its kind. We'll take you on a journey through the Cherokee Nation and beyond, bringing you the personal stories of the people who've helped shape our nation.
Whether it's the stories dating back to our original homelands in the southeastern United States, or to the Cherokee Nation in Indian Territory, or stories about our current tribal communities in present-day Oklahoma, we're excited to share our rich history, culture, and traditions with you, and show that Cherokees are so much more than what you've read in the history books.
Ryan Dirteater is a professional bull rider who so far has competed in 8 World Finals events. Just last year, he won the event title and brought home a buckle and a barrel of pride to the Cherokee Nation.
My dad told me one time, he said, son, you can either work 8 hours or 8 seconds, it's up to you. You're going to battle pretty much, it's 8 seconds of war. I would say you would have to be a little bit different to be a bull rider. Making it a career, I guess, you gotta really love it to do it. It's all I ever done, it's all I ever wanted to be. I wanted to be a cowboy, and I still am today a cowboy.
But you're an Indian, too.
I'm an Indian cowboy. My last name, Dirteater, you know, I get that all the time. You know, ask me where my name come from. I'm Native American. You know, it's pretty neat just, you know, being here in Cherokee County also, you know, you're near everybody. And, you know, I love the culture. It's nice really coming out here, and it's relaxing to me, it clears your mind, because, you know, bull riding's, you're climbing on animals like this, 1,500, 2,000-pound animals, and your adrenaline's going. And I think it's good just to get away from all that, the city life, and it's good knowing that I've got something back home. You know, say if bull riding don't work out, you know, I got this, I can come back home and raise some cows.
So 8 seconds. A lot of people, you know, you think about that. You do all of this work, you know, you train every day, you travel, and it's all for 8 seconds.
Keep it simple, it's just 8 seconds. You really just gotta clear your mind and react with the bull, because bulls, you know, they're animals, they're gonna do whatever they can to get you off their back. It's a tough mental sport. You gotta be mentally ready, you know, physically ready also, but you can easily psych yourself out when you're crawling on the back of one. Getting off's the hard part. Riding is, I'd like to say, is the easiest part. Getting off, because I want to make sure my get off not horrible. That's how I tore my last ACL. Yeah, major injuries, broke my femur, dislocated my knee, jaw. I got a long list of them. Got scars all over the place, tore my tricep, and got a big old scar here. You know, my knee's all banged up. And, you know, if it was any other sport, I'd probably be done. But bull riding, you're hanging on. There's not a whole lot of running. That's one thing I wish that wouldn't have happened, but it's a part of it. It's been ups and downs. I know I've been through a lot of adversity, but you know, I just fought my way through it, and I'm back doing what I love.
Well, a lot of people think, you know, bull riders are crazy. I mean, people die riding bulls.
Yeah, but You know, people die driving down the road too. It's when it's your day, just better be ready.
You feel like you're living your dream?
Yeah, I feel like I am. You know, if you're doing what you're meant to be or living your dream, you'll never work a day in your life, and I feel like I'm doing that.
What's going through your mind right before you get on a bull?
Before I get on him, I'm focused on just the little things. You know, keep my chin down, staying in the middle, be ready for anything. Getting on the stationary barrel, horses bareback, getting on practice bulls if you have to, working out, be ready to go. But when I slide down on the chute, I like to just clear my mind, you know, just take a deep breath, you know, exhale, inhale, get everything right, put my hand on the board up, side up, and just let it out and go. After you step off the bull and know you made a great ride, you hear the fans screaming your name. Your adrenaline's going, you're on top of the world at that moment.
Throughout his career, he's gone by the moniker of the Cherokee Kid. But guess what? With that ride, the kid's grown up.
To watch this story again or watch other stories about Cherokee athletes, visit our website, osiyo.tv.
Ryan is one of many Cherokee athletes you'll see on our show and in the spotlight as we highlight their exciting careers.
Record-breaking college quarterback Mason Fine and national football great Wes Welker.
Being Cherokee is probably where all my toughness probably comes out.
Professional boxer Wes No Fire and mixed martial arts fighter Jamie Ambush Jones.
I got that fighter mentality because of our heritage.
Trick rider Haley Ganzel, Major League Baseball greats, young athletes, and legends like archery world champ Joe Thornton.
I set a couple of world records while I was at it. That was a great feeling.
Throughout history, the Cherokee story has often been told by outsiders of our tribe. On this program, we bring you historical accounts using tribal historians and culture keepers who have kept our traditions and oral histories alive for generations and who are committed to preserving them for the future.
The forced removal of the Cherokee people known as the Trail of Tears is the most well-known part of Cherokee history. And while that tragic story does not define who we are as a nation today, it does play a significant role in how we got here.
In this Cherokee Almanac, we visit the Brainerd Mission Cemetery along one route of the Trail of Tears, where an unknown number of our people were buried along the way. The Brainerd Mission Cemetery, a sacred acre burrowed in present-day Chattanooga, Tennessee, encroached by its busy streets and a bustling shopping center. In the 1800s, the cemetery laid along the rolling hills of the old Cherokee Nation, nestled alongside the Brainerd Mission Station, where Reverend Daniel Buttrick worked as a missionary to the Cherokees. Reverend Buttrick's journal is one of the only detailed first-hand accounts of the Trail of Tears and tells the tragic stories of several Cherokees buried in this hallowed ground. His journal begins in 1838, as Cherokees who had not already left for the West were rounded up into concentration camps, one of them near this site. June 17, 1838. On this day, we were called to follow the remains of a poor Cherokee woman to the grave. I knelt down and prayed for her dear departing soul. I was at once overcome and wept aloud in contemplating the condition of these dear sick people. June 18, 1838. Today we are called to perform the funeral obsequies of a little child who died with the body flux. His afflicted mother was permitted to fetch him from the camps this morning. The child seemed already in the agonies of death when she arrived. On the 19th, the young man above mentioned was carried to the grave, and on the 20th, a middle-aged woman followed. June 28, 1838. It is said that many old women driven in this company cried like children when they started, saying they never could live to walk that journey in this hot season, but their cries could not be heard. They were driven on. Cherokee history is fascinating, and while sometimes tragic, it's often triumphant. The story of Cherokee Nation citizen Andy Payne is inspirational and captures a moment in time when the entire country rallied around one spectacular event.
It was the biggest sporting event of its time. A 1928 cross-country race with its halfway point in Claremore, Oklahoma. Schools and businesses shut down, and Oklahomans came out in droves to watch the runners race down Route 66. In the lead was a 20-year-old Cherokee farm boy from Foyle, Oklahoma, Andy Payne. He was an underdog, competing against marathoners, record holders, and professional runners from all over the world. He had just won a cross-country race and a $25,000 prize that came with it. Andy, a Cherokee Nation citizen, had been in California looking for work when he saw a newspaper advertisement announcing C.C. Pyle's first annual transcontinental foot race. Growing up, running the back roads of northeastern Oklahoma, Andy was known to outrun horses and figured if anyone could run from coast to coast, he could. The race was meant to promote the newly established Route 66, which had been cobbled together out of dirt roads and paved highways. The Route 66 Association hoped to encourage Americans to take long-distance road trips on the new Main Street of America, and so enlisted C.C. Pyle to create a grand promotional event. The route of the Bunyan Derby, as the newspapers had dubbed it, stretched from Los Angeles Ascot Park to the windy city of Chicago. The runners would continue on to New York City via several different highways and end the race in New York City's Madison Square Garden. The 275 participants came from all over the world and were of many different races, breaking typical segregation laws of the time. Among the runners were record holders and famous marathoners. So little attention was paid to the Oklahoma farm boy, Eddie the Chic Gardner, the son of two former Alabama slaves, Johnny Salo, a shipbuilder from New Jersey, and an Englishman, Peter Gavuzzi. All had a good chance of winning. The Bunyan Derby began on March 4th, 1928, to great fanfare. Each night, the runners would stop in a different town, and their times for the day were recorded. C.C. Pyle, the race's organizer, was a leading sports promoter and the first American sports agent, nicknamed Cash and Carry Pyle. Always an opportunist, Pyle attempted to get towns along the route to pay for the runners to stop there. Andy and the other runners slept in tents that were transported along the route. Also in the caravan were 40 newspaper reporters, Pyle's custom-made touring bus, and a carnival that Pyle set up nightly in each town, complete with freak show attractions, and the mummified body of Oklahoma outlaw Elmer McCurdy, who had been dead for 17 years. The runners encountered plenty of obstacles, including running on unpaved roads, accidental injuries by motorists, subpar meals and sleeping conditions, and changing weather. After a particularly grueling hot day of running, nearly 60 miles through the Mojave Desert on day 8, only 130 racers remained. The burning heat of California was soon followed by 7,000 feet of elevation at the highest point of Route 66 near Flagstaff, leaving only 100 runners. Andy Payne took second place in Arizona, and it was here that the newspapers began paying attention to this Cherokee kid. On the 12th day, Andy came in first to the checkpoint in Seligman, Arizona, but the lead didn't last long. A sore throat turned out to be tonsillitis, and Andy lagged behind over the next few days. He forced himself to continue running while he recovered with the help of his trainer, Tom Young. Andy had employed Young with a promise of payment of 10% of any of the prize money he should win. Frigid cold, snow, and ankle-deep mud met the runners in the Texas Panhandle. But on Easter Sunday, April 8th, Andy in front led the rest of the participants into his home state of Oklahoma. Some Oklahomans had banded together to offer a $1,000 reward to the first runner to enter the state, and Andy thrilled everyone when he crossed the state line in the lead. Because of Andy's popularity, Pyle had a special Andy Payne edition of the official race program published. Over the 12 days the race remained in the Sooner State, Oklahomans celebrated their newest favorite son. In Oklahoma City, a line of 1,000 cars followed Andy into the city. A massive crowd showed up for a parade in Andy's honor. In Tulsa, busloads of bands from all over the state greeted Andy and his fellow runners. He had been stopped and greeted so many times, he briefly lost his lead and had to be escorted by a police motorcade through Tulsa. When Andy reached Claremore, the largest town near his hometown of Foyle, he received a 22-gun salute from the cadets of the Oklahoma Military Academy and was greeted by Will Rogers on the halfway mark of the race, 1,650 miles in. Andy had a chance to visit briefly with his family and his sweetheart, Vivian, at home in Foyle before leaving the state to continue the Derby. Andy maintained his lead on and off for the rest of the race, with Englishman Peter Gavuzzi and Johnny Salo from New Jersey, his closest competition. Other runners dropped out due to injury, fatigue, or cheating. Andy again had to have a police escort when the route entered Salo's hometown of Passaic, New Jersey, as there was a rumor that Salo's friends were going to run Andy over. In reality, Johnny Salo and Andy Payne became friends. And after the race, Salo said of Andy, "I'm just proud to have been able to run with such a man." On May 26, 1928, after 3,422.3 miles, running 573 hours, 4 minutes, and 34 seconds, over 84 days, in which he averaged 40 miles per day, 10 minutes per mile, and wore out 5 pairs of shoes, Andy Payne came in first place in the Transcontinental Foot Race, beating his nearest competitor by 15.5 hours. Only 55 of the original Bunyan Derby runners made it to the finish line in New York City's Madison Square Garden. Andy Payne used the $25,000 prize to return to Oklahoma, pay off the mortgage on his parents' farm, buy a car to travel to visit Vivian, and marry her the next year. After accomplishing such an extraordinary feat, Andy Payne retired from running. He went on to serve as the clerk to the Supreme Court of Oklahoma and died in 1977 at the age of 70.
Cherokee statesman Sequoyah developed the Cherokee syllabary in the early 1800s. At that time, he referred to correspondence in syllabary as talking leaves. From the talking leaves of the 1800s to its use on the internet today, the Cherokee language is thriving. On this show, we offer you the chance to learn key phrases in the Cherokee language each week with a segment called Let's Talk Cherokee.
Let's Talk Cherokee. How are you? Tohiju.
Tohiju.
I am good. Orsta.
Osta.
I am okay. Orsi.
Orsi.
I am not good. La orsta yiki.
La osta yiki.
What's wrong? Kadogu.
Kadogu.
And beyond Let's Talk Cherokee, we often visit with elders and Cherokee language speakers to ensure that our language is never lost.
You stood there how you looked also his dad doesn't know it's good to go on. Cái gì lớn của tôi bạn này đó. Đó chỉ là
Daji.
Mac only speaks Cherokee, and he's probably just a handful. One other person that I know is his sister, 90 years old. I've learned from them.
And he only had that in the old like a lifty.
I grew up speaking the language. That's my first language. And everywhere I went, to my grandma's house or great-grandma or to the neighbors, that's all we spoke is Cherokee.
To learn more about the Cherokee language and to watch more Let's Talk Cherokee segments, visit our website, osio.tv.
Food plays a major role in Cherokee culture. On Osiyo, Voices of the Cherokee People, we'll introduce you to traditional recipes passed down through generations and take you into the kitchens of the people who make them so special.
My name is Edith Knight. I'm a Cherokee National Treasure. My craft was traditional clothing, but I'm also involved in food, traditional foods. I had three brothers and two sisters, and my dad was a full-blood, but my mama was Scotch-Irish. I went to school at Chalk Bluff, and of course had to walk to school, rain, sleet or snow, whatever. Some of the kids that went to school talked Cherokee, but the teachers didn't like for them to do that. They got in trouble if they talked Cherokee to each other while we're in grade school. So I did not learn to speak it. I knew who my husband was quite a while before we ever got together. When I was in high school, there was always some young men that would drive their cars around the block of the high school. So we'd be sitting out on the lawn waiting to go back into class. So we'd get to watching them drive their cars around the block. So I spied him, and I liked his car. So when we got together, he was, like I said, he was just bashful. But we got along. Our backgrounds were similar, so it made it all right. And I tell everybody, I chased him till he caught me. I guess we'll just hold each other up the rest of the years we got together. My mama always made my clothes. She would take the clothing that we outgrew and she'd make it into a quilt top. But that made me like to sew again. I guess that's where I got the liking to sew, was to watch her. I didn't start traditional clothing until my grandchildren come along, the tear dresses. And I made a few shawls. They wanted to be in the little Mr. and Miss Cherokee contest, so I just learned how to make their clothes. As my mother would be cooking, well, I would have my little nose up there to see what she was doing. My mother taught me how to make kanachi and just about everything that I know how to do. Kanachi is hickory nuts and rice cooked together. When the hickory nuts are ready to harvest, they will fall, and it's usually along about October, last of October, when they start falling. And a lot of them will fall with this outer hull, but when they hit the ground, they'll burst open and you can just pick them up. And from here, we crack them into a smaller piece, and then they're ready to grind in the canon. This is called a canon. This block is called a canon. After the hickory nuts have been pounded, make it into a ball. You take that ball and then you break it up and drop it down into water boiling. Cook it at least 10 minutes to get rid of all the bacteria. And then after that's cooked, then I run it through a sieve to get rid of the larger hulls, and then I cook that again, until it's the juice will start to thicken a little bit, and then I run it through a strainer to get the rest of the hulls out. And then I take that, I call it slurry. It's just so liquid, and I add that to cooked rice and add sugar to it. And that's it. That's top of my world. I like to see people eat. I like for them to enjoy what they're eating. If they like it half as good as I like making it and sharing it with them, I'm happy. I guess what I would like for people to remember me is that I'd like to be thought of as a giving person, a loving person, and I guess that's about all I could ever want. Just remember that. Learn as much as you can about your history because it's important to know who you are, where you come from, and I think it makes you a stronger person whenever you find out what all the Cherokees has had to go through. I think that's what us Cherokees are. We're strong. We're really stronger than what we think we are. And I like that.
Other foods you'll love to learn about: crawdads, wild onions, baked Indian tacos, and poke greens.
And there's certain places, that are well known, to the people that do gather mushrooms or dig onions or get possum grapes, huckleberry, they know where it grows.
One of the more colorful ways to learn about Cherokee culture is through arts and leisure activities.
Whether we visit with Cherokee painters, metal craftsmen, potters, or basket weavers, or show you how to pass the time outdoors, gigging, playing Cherokee marbles, flint knapping, or bow making, each experience is as unforgettable as the next.
If you want to be a traditional basket maker or call yourself a traditional basket maker, then you've got to start from the bottom.
We hope you'll join us each week and discover the untold stories of the Cherokee people right here on your local PBS affiliate. There is no Cherokee word for goodbye. We say, Dodadago ha'i. We'll see each other again. So until next time, wado.